Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian Fishing Podcast, episode 111. Dizzy?
Great to be here with you, Rhodey. Very good, mate. 111. We've got a huge episode today. Shane Hodgens from Port Lincoln Tackle World. We're going to have a chat with him about all things fishing on the Eyre Peninsula. He's got some great stories about some fish to be targeting down there, and he's going to tell us about everything about his lovely store down there.
He does, Diz, and his young fella Charlie was the 2024 Tuna Champion of the Year.
Yeah, pretty specky. Pretty special prize, that one. So they practice sustainable fishing wherever they can, those guys. And, good on him for he's a bit of he's a gun already. I shouldn't even say gun in the making. He's an absolute gun.
He is, and his old man Shane has a lot of knowledge that we heard about at the Port Lincoln Tuna Comp, Diz, and we can't wait to pick his brain.
Yep, absolutely, Rhodey. Well, before we do that, mate, let's get it stuck into our regular segments, and we'll start with oranges and lemons, and I'll kick you off with an orange, mate. We've just come back from a night camping. Good fun.
Yeah. Good of us to pick the first weekend of winter to go camping, but no, it was really good. Diz, we went up to Young Husband. There was sort of 4 or 5 families, kids everywhere. Yeah, 2 rods in the water at all times. Got down to Housey Tackle to grab some monster scrubbies. It always amazes me how good they are.
Oh, yeah.
They're big, strong worms, those ones, Diz. And I know there's plenty of our listeners that would love to go down the river in the summer, have a dip, but there's something about the river in the middle of winter, isn't there?
Yeah, it was a great spot where we camped, and the weather was really good. So when the sun was out, it was warm. You were close to shorts and t-shirt for there, but the moment that sun got down, it was cold at night.
It certainly was, Diz, and I'm going to keep us moving on to my orange. We've just been away and bang, we got another long weekend upon us.
How good's that?
We are heading over to the Eyre Peninsula. We're going to get into the winter whiting, Diz. That's the plan anyway.
Love it, mate. Beautiful. Hopefully the weather plays the game.
So 2 weekends away in a row, plenty of fishing, which is always good.
Yep, excellent. All right, mate, I'll roll that straight into the lemons. So we've got, for me, it was the lack of native species we caught on the river.
Yeah, Diz. It was
nothing but European carp.
I suppose, we were just fishing off the bank in the mainstream. We didn't go and tug at any logs. Not my lemon, but something that I miss is having a tinny that you can go and do a bit more river fishing in. So when we win Tuts Lotto, we'll buy a riverboat.
Yeah. We'll deck it out. It'll certainly be a lot better than our last tinny.
Because it would have been good to, nick off up the river for a couple of hours early this morning and target something a bit more substantial than the humble carp. But we did our best at clearing the river of the European carp one by one.
We did a bit of a service, so that was good, and the kids absolutely loved it. What was your lemon, mate?
Dizzy, I love camping. We love camping. There's nothing wrong with camping, but you get home and my God, there's a bit of cleanup.
Yeah, the pack up.
Oh, and the tent gets mouldy. What do you have to do? You got to set it up again. Yeah. I've just put the thing away.
Yeah.
So my backyard's got a swag, it's got a tent, it's got deck chairs, it's got everything airing out. Probably won't get put away for 3 days.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
Not a fun pack up.
No. Somebody needs to invent a system for that.
Anyway, Diz, that's first world problems, really, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is. Let's move on, Rhodey. We've got a bit of an update for everybody out there with the merch. What I will say is get your hands on some beanies. It was cold, and the one thing that got us through, particularly keeping the noggin nice and warm, was, of course, our lovely All the Gear But No Idea beanies. So get in touch with us if you want one. They're fashionable. They keep your head warm. What else could you want from a beanie?
$25 a pop. They look beautiful. They did the damage up the river the weekend. I'll tell you that right now. And Diz, we've also got some more, a little bit of an update as well, Diz. We are bringing back the monthly photo comp.
How good.
So June will be the first month of its comeback tour.
Okay, nice.
And so, we're going to have a Shimano backpack.
Yes, of course. There's some really good Shimano gear up for grabs. in our monthly photo comp. So we'll be running the same thing as last time. Get your photos into us. We'll announce the species into our next episode.
Are we going to do a specific species every month?
Oh, well, I don't know. We'll do something, mate. We'll come up with something creative.
Yeah, look, just get all your fishing photos into us. Send us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you follow us. We'll pick our favourite photo at the end of the month, and there'll be an epic prize pack, a Shimano backpack, and some merch as well. So that'll be really good, Diz. And we look forward to seeing all your photos coming through.
Good call, Rhodey. All right, mate, let's get into our news segment.
Rhodey and Diz have been searching far and wide to bring you the latest news across all fishing in the state, and we'll give you the rundown on what you need to know.
Rhodey, I think I can hear the hoorays from here, from the Tumby Bay locals about the jetty reopening.
Tizzy, it has. It's been closed since October 2022. We have followed it closely. There's been a lot of finger pointing, toing and froing, who was responsible for what and what was going to happen. But it has reopened officially, Diz.
Yep, we love that. The locals will be absolutely chuffed with that. We know how much jetties can bring to a local community. We certainly were disappointed to see its closure, but we are thrilled the fact that it's open. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of happy people both in that area and people that visit, because nothing like wetting a line on a jetty or just taking a stroll down there to see the sights and sounds. It's always good fun.
And Diz, I suppose that, the fact that that was closed for 18 months or whatever it was, highlights that there is still a lot of work to be done right across the state, because that wasn't the only jetty, Diz, that's needing some repairs. And we need to keep pushing for funding for those sort of things, Diz.
Yeah, good call, Rhodey, good call. We have been following a lot of different jetties that are either in sort of a desperate state of repair needing to be done or have been closed. So this is one good news story, no doubt about it, but there's a lot out there that are still closed and still need some more work. So we'll keep following those along for you. Rhodey, next on the news item is, of course, the announcement that happened very recently about the cockle bag limit being increased, but that is, of course, for next year because it's just closed.
Yep, this season's done. It'll reopen on the 1st of November for recreational pippy or cockle fishing, or collecting, I suppose you'd call it. And there's an increase by 10%. So the daily personal bag limit was 300, is now 330. The vehicle limit has gone up from 900 to 990. And the possession limit has also increased from 1,200 to 1,320 Diz. So it's not a massive jump, but every little bit counts.
That's right, and good on you, Claire Scriven, for listening to the advice and the community engagement from people across the state, those that are in the know, Recfish SA and Sardi. So that's a good news outcome, and I'm sure there'll be more sort of reminders of that as the time goes on, as we lead into the next season, which is late October, is it, Rhodey, I think?
November 1, I think it is.
November. Yeah, good call. Righto, ready? What else we got in the news segment?
Diz, this is just a quick one. I just thought I'd highlight this. I do follow Fisheries Victoria on Instagram, and I did notice during the week they are recruiting 7 new fisheries officers.
Oh, how good's that?
7 in one hit. They're just like, yeah, we'll have 7 more.
Wow, that's good.
Do you remember how many we've got in this state?
Oh, I don't know.
Does 12 ring a bell?
Not a lot. Not enough.
7. That's a lot to just recruit in one hit, and it just shows that we are probably lacking a bit in this state. And I know there's plenty of people that would be happy to tell stories of what they see on jetties and waterways around the state. They call up to report these things to the Fish Watch, I think it is, number Diz.
Yeah.
And not a lot is done about it. So we need to follow suit with some of the other states and get a bit more funding for things like that.
Yes, good call. And it was interesting. I did note in Fisheries Victoria's ad that they were looking for some female officers as well as those that speak Vietnamese and Chinese, which I think was an interesting one because maybe that's a barrier that they're facing at the moment in their current team, that they can't quite communicate with the diverse culture that we have here in Australia. So I think that's a big tick for them. Hopefully they find the right candidates so that they can spread the word across Victoria, and hopefully the decision makers here can see what's happening over there and start to sort of emulate some of the stuff in this state, shall we say.
Exactly right, Diz. Now let's get on to our next little topic, Diz, and this is another one that we talked about last episode. We're going to go back to it again. Caleb Murray made the ABC News. He had a bit of an interview, Diz, and he is pushing for, better access for those with a disability or with some barriers to be able to chase your goals and catch massive tuna like him or do whatever they really want to do.
Caleb Murray can be a spokesman anytime you like. He is an inspiration no matter what. We heard from Tyson in episode 110 about how great their day was. He is a really inspirational person, as I said. Good on him for getting out there and spreading the word. Couldn't agree with him anymore.
And, it was a really good article here on the ABC website. It just talks about, whatever your goal is, you just need to sit down and get it done and get the support set up, get the sort of, the carers around you, the supports, the fishing charters such as Want to Fish with Tyson, putting it all into place and just going out there and doing it, Diz.
Good shout. Good stuff. We love your work, Caleb. Excellent. Rhodey, what else you got in the news segment? I'm hearing that the shark sightings for Calypso were few and far between for a while.
Yeah, I think it was, I want to say January, but I'm not positive. I think it might have been late January. Anyway, they did not see any sharks on the Calypso shark cage diving boat for 94 days, but they are back.
Wow, there you go.
And they've seen a couple over the last week or so, Diz. And I suppose my question is, where did they go?
Yeah, don't know.
And there was plenty of theories about killer whales, and I'm putting it down on that, Diz.
Oh, there you go. Killer whales, you reckon?
Because I know Dan Coleman, who won the Port Lincoln Tuna Comp, Diz. He put up a video recently with a clicking sound that he believed to have been killer whales, so that would fit with that story. And just looking here on their Facebook page, they're back into them, they're seeing them again, and it's really good to see, Diz, because we loved it when we went and did that.
Yes, we did. Absolutely, we did. Beautiful, Rhodey. Great story, mate.
All right, Diz, that's a pretty comprehensive news segment, isn't it?
Yeah, I do. There was an interesting another one, actually. Flinders University. Did you see that one about the 3-metre female great white shark that they had tagged? They had an archived tag that are designed to capture about 4 to 6 months worth of data. And it was interesting about how it travelled. So the tag was recorded, the movement of the shark from Shark Bay in WA over 3,000 kilometres from South Neptune Island. It recorded depths of 631.5 metres and water temperatures ranging from 9 to 26 degrees. And it's popped off on the 18th of May near Albany and floated ashore. It was retrieved and then they were able to capture all of that data. And they're not cheap, mate. They're about 4,000 buckaroos each or something or other.
And Diz, it was interesting here. They've said that I think, was this the one that they retrieved in a cave or something? Or it washed up in some odd location? I can't remember if it was that one. But
it was retrieved in a cave and crevice with the help of locating ping that the tag transmits.
So that'd be a cool job to have.
Going and tracking down a little...
Wouldn't it? Following this little ping around on your screen saying, how can I get into this little crevice?
It'd be like Find My iPhone on steroids.
Yeah, I want that job.
Good call. Good call. All right, that's a juicy little news segment, Rhodey. I like that. Good from you. What do we got next?
Let's keep moving.
Now it's time for Rhodey and Diz to really show you what it means to have all the gear with a lot of idea as they review a tackle item of the week.
Righto, Rhodey. We're on the river this weekend fishing for the carp, and that's a great activity for young kids when you're trying to get them into fishing because they're not overly difficult to catch. You can just leave the rods there and wait for them to bite. But when the light gets low, you really need something to just jolt you when they're biting. And what do you need? A bell.
You do, Diz. And what was your one job for the weekend?
To bring a bell.
Did you bring a bell?
No.
No bells.
I thought the Bow Hill General Store would have had a bell for sure.
Oh, anyway, the bell is a great acquisition to any river fishing kit.
Yeah.
Little clip on, you put it up the top of your rod, you hear that little tinkle, 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 bang, you're on.
Yeah. So you got to get down to sport fishing scene probably. They'll have one there for sure.
Because I found myself all Saturday afternoon, I just couldn't quite get comfortable near the fire. I had to keep rearranging myself, so I had a good eye line on the rods.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you've got the bell, you just rest a bit easier because the last thing you want to do is miss a big Murray cod.
Yeah, good call. But yes, no, get yourself a bell if you're heading down to the river fishing. Certainly probably wouldn't recommend the bell if you're like throwing lures. That'd just annoy your mate, the constant jingle of a bell, and it's not really what it's designed for. But get down to someone with a bit of know-how. They'll demonstrate how the bell works for you.
It's pretty self-explanatory, Diz, and we talk about a lot of sort of big ticket items in this segment, and today we've gone from the humble down to the humblest of humble bells.
It was a good tackle item of the week.
All right, Diz, let's go onwards and upwards from your little bell you wanted to talk about, and let's get an absolute guru, Shane Hodgens. He is the owner of Tackle World Port Lincoln. He knows every single little thing there is to know about fishing the Eyre Peninsula and Port Lincoln. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Now it's time to get our guest on the line. We'll ask them the all-important 5 questions, then chat all things fishing in SA.
All right, Diz, we are joined by Shane from Tackle World Port Lincoln. Shane, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
Thanks for coming on, Shane. We were lucky enough to meet you at the Port Lincoln Tuna Comp recently in March. Your store down there is something that all rec fishers across our state needs to visit, mate. It's absolutely epic, and we can't wait to talk to you about that. But first, let's get stuck into the 5 questions we ask all of our guests. And so to start with, can you tell us about your best fish?
Oh, Jesus. There's a lot.
Make us jealous.
I'd probably say the most memorable fish, it's probably not one of the biggest, but it's probably the more memorable one. It would be I think it was 31.5 kilo mulloway.
Oh, yeah.
And what's so memorable about that was I caught it the day after the Crows won their first grand final. And I was living in Sydney at the time, and with the Crows playing football, getting into the grand final, I had to be in SA to watch it, and I was on a massive high. And had to go fishing the next day and ended up catching the biggest ever mulloway over in Eyre Peninsula. And that's definitely probably one of my most memorable fish, I'd say.
Pretty decent weekend for you then. Crows win a flag and you do a massive mully like that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, just lead them to win another flag, and hopefully I could do one better next time.
Well, if they do have a bit of success in the years to come, we'll be sure to keep the Sunday free to keep an eye on what you're doing.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, Shane, what is your favourite thing about fishing?
Probably my favourite thing is no matter how bad a day or a week you've had during that week, when you're out fishing, it doesn't seem to matter what type of fishing you're doing. Your mind is just completely focused on catching a fish, and whatever's been on your mind or upset you, it doesn't matter what it is. You just completely forget about it. So that's what I love about it. And then just it is a sort of you're out in nature, and especially fishing over here. There's so many awesome places that we go fishing in, and it's just great to be out fishing. Even if I don't catch anything, I don't really. It doesn't really bother me that much. Just love getting out and being out in nature, I suppose.
Yep, couldn't agree with you anymore, mate. Great answer. Now tell us your first fishing memory or what got you into it.
Definitely my grandpa. Probably my first, the main memory was my little brother. He really upset me quite a bit, and he probably got me into fishing more than anything. So I remember my little brother was playing football one day, and after football, Dad took my little brother fishing and not me, and then it was down at Brighton Jetty in Adelaide there. And, yeah, they cleaned up on Tommy's, and then they came home, and my little brother goes, look what I caught. And that really upset me, and, that sort of got me going, and that got me really started the fishing.
Nothing like a bit of friendly rivalry to get the juices flowing, that's for sure.
There is, yeah.
All right, now tell us, Shane, you're blessed over there on the Eyre Peninsula with lots of different options for what you can target. Tell us about what your favourite sort of fishing is and why.
It would definitely be game fishing. So, and it doesn't matter what type of game fish. I just love catching game fish. Look over here. I love catching sharks, tuna, kingfish, Samson fish. Whatever's big and pulls hard, that's what I love catching. So I love it all, really.
And we've seen plenty of videos of you catching some big fish, mate. So we know you know how to find them. Now, tell us your funniest fishing story, or tell us about one that got away.
The funniest, I don't know if I could really repeat that. So that's that. Yeah, I'll leave that one, but. The one that got away, years and years ago, when you could catch white pointers, so it would have been, back in the early 90s, I reckon it was, 1991. A group of mates from Adelaide. We used to fish Rapid Bay all the time for sharks, whatever we could get. And I suppose the one that's really got away, that was ginormous. We ended up hooking a 18-foot white pointer, and that was up at Streaky Bay.
Wow.
And we would have taken it. So we had it for probably about 4.5 hours, hooked up for 4.5 hours. It was in a charter boat up at Streaky Bay, way back in that early 90s, and I can distinctly remember it literally was like Jaws, like the wind picked up, and we were backing the boat back. The fella, my mate that was hooked up to the shark, we were holding him down, and then all the waves were coming over the back of the boat. So it was very much like Jaws when the shark's dragging them back. But yeah, we got it right up, and after 4.5 hours, the mate was absolutely stuffed. It was such a hard battle, and it was just too big. It was just a ginormous fish to catch on rod and reel. And yeah, that one got away.
That's certainly the biggest fish we've ever had now. One that got away, Diz, 18 foot.
Is it ever? It was funny because
it was massive. Like some of the the other guys reckon it was bigger, but. We were on a 24-foot boat. Some of the fellas go, as big as the boat, but it wasn't quite as big as the boat. Jeez. But I'd say an easy 18-foot. It was a huge shark.
Amazing.
The eyes, the shark came right up to the boat before we hooked it. And, its eyes were at least as big as the size of a cricket ball, and it just big black eyes just coming up to have a look at you and, freak you out a bit.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, but, it was good.
Epic. Well, we were at Streaky about 18 months, 2 years ago, Rhodey, and we were in the museum looking at some stories of people catching great whites and that sort of thing. So...
Must have been the place to be back in the day by the sounds.
That's right.
Yeah.
Plenty of world records and all that.
Yeah. No, it's a great spot up there.
All right, Shane, thanks for answering those 5 questions for us. Let's get into a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your store, Tackle World Port Lincoln. How long have you had it? Tell us the story about how you got into the industry and come to be where you are today.
Well, this will be our 9th year operating as Tackle World Port Lincoln. How it happened, look, I'd always wanted my own fishing tackle shop. it was, a long time, or a lot of years in the making. I never wanted to actually work in one as a worker. I just wanted to own one. And that was pretty much it. And at the time I was working up at Roxby in the mines up there, and then ended up getting a redundancy up there, which happens from time to time. And my plan was only to, stay up there. Prior to getting a redundancy, I was only going to be up there for another year or two. Just wanted to save up a bit more money, and it didn't happen. But we ended up, we thought, nah, bugger it. Once we got the redundancy, I thought, nah, let's go and start our own fishing tackle shop. So we did that. So 9 years ago, started off small and worked our way up. And it's been a pretty good shop. It's all work in progress. So we're constantly, trying to make it the best we can. And we want it to be a completely different shop. I don't want it to be anything like what's around. There are some really good ones, but we just want to be a real unique shop. And in the course of the next few years, hopefully we can, build it up and make it even better than what it is now. So, but it's pretty good. We're happy with it, especially with our new location and the size of the shop. So we're quite happy, and it's got a pretty good reputation now. So we're quite happy with it.
Absolutely, mate, and we can certainly attest to that. We were there recently in March for the Port Lincoln Tuna Comp. It's a fantastic site. So you said you've sort of moved to there. Like, when did the renos happen? Because you've got a range that compares to the absolute best of the best, mate. You've got everything in there. It is epic. It's a great store.
Yeah, we're up the other end of town. So at the moment, up the other end of town, across from the Centenary Oval, it was a lot smaller shop. Probably about a quarter of the size of what we got now. And look, it served us really well. It was very busy. It's a very busy part of Port Lincoln up the other side of town. But it was for us to expand, and we really needed to. We just got bigger and bigger, and with the different types of fishing that's sort of around and what's evolved. Like, fishing's just evolved so much just in the 9 years since we've been in business. We could not simply stay where we were, so we had to move somewhere bigger. So we moved almost 2 years ago, and what we had, it was pretty much just like an old shed, and we really wanted to make it, something that really stood out and people would talk about it. And one thing that we wanted to achieve was, because Port Lincoln is a very touristy town, we want tourists coming to town, coming to our shop, and then if they're up at Broome or Darwin or Cairns and they're speaking to other people in the caravan parks and they're coming down our way, we want them to say, go to Tackle Port Lincoln, because that's just such a great shop. And I think we've pretty much achieved that. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work. I just wanted it to be completely different. Nothing what you've got in Australia at all. We've just gone in with the black paint, and everything's black. And if we'd painted a different colour, you'd see. You definitely wouldn't. It wouldn't have that impact. And because it's all black and everything's on the black, it just looks awesome. And with the jetty pylons that we were able to get and put in the store there, that's another big point. And hopefully we just get heaps more taxidermy and heaps of different fish, and all different game fish we'd like to put in the shop there, and hopefully a big fish tank at some stage as well. So, but that's all things that we can do over the years, and it's our building, so we're not renting it or anything like that. So it's whatever we want to do, we can do there, and it will become a pretty good place.
Beautiful, Shane. Well, from our perspective, you've already ticked a lot of those boxes. We were there, as Dizzy said, earlier in the year, and it is a huge shop, and you certainly tick off a lot of species and a lot of different gear. Now, we want to get into some of these specifics that's going on in Port Lincoln at the moment. We've heard some reports from yourself on your Port Lincoln Tackle World fishing report about some barrel big 100-kilo tuna being caught locally, and you've been out looking yourself. Can you give us the lowdown on that, Shane?
I've done 3 trips probably in the last month, and we found them yesterday. We ended up. There's still a lot of just school tuna around as well, so that's a real surprise. So that was what really amazed me. I didn't think there'd be so many, but we ended up catching probably at least 20 school tuna.
Wow!
And we're sifting through them using 24 kilo. And 37 kilo outfits to try and get a barrel, and 10-inch skirts, and you're still getting fish anywhere between 6 and 14 kilos. So we probably sifted through about 20 of those.
Wow!
And we did. We ended up hooking up. So we hooked up a really good one. They only lasted about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, we lost that one. And one of the other boats that we went out with, they ended up hooking up for 45. So that was on 37 kilo gear. Last weekend, there was a really good one that was tagged and released, and another one that was lost. And I'm just hearing of them all over the place now. So, last year was really the start of it. We started catching them, and then people started going out looking for them, actively looking for them, and they were finding them. So I think they've always been here. We just haven't really looked hard enough. And they're a winter fish, these big ones, winter and spring. Last year we got them right up until November, and I'm putting money that we're going to be able to catch tuna here for 12 months of the year. So hopefully, we'll find out next month. I know there's going to be more hooked up and caught this month, and I'm pretty sure into July, August as well. It's just going to keep going on. So I think we've got a pretty good thing over here. And the fish are big too. They're really good sized fish.
Well, if that's not enough of a reason for any of the listeners out there or for us to book another trip, Rhodey, I don't know what is. We can get down there, get the lowdown on the gear to set ourselves up and get out there from Shane at Tackle World, and we'll be laughing. Now, we have also seen in the report, mate, a swordfish.
Yeah, that is just an amazing capture, and that's another fish which we knew that we always knew they were here. And it was just a matter of who's going to catch one first. So the crew that got that, there's been a number of people over the years that have really tried hard, and it's all been to no avail. But you're looking at, from Port Lincoln, where the swordfish are, you're looking about 140 kilometres just to get to the areas where they are.
Wow.
So it is a fair old hike, and you've got to have the right weather, and if you don't have the right weather, it's just I think it'd be pretty crazy even trying to attempt to go out there. But this crew, they've done 3 trips in the last month, and the last weekend they managed to hook up 2. They hooked up 2, so the one that they lost, they had a boat side, and that was even bigger. Possibly even 100 kilos bigger.
Jeez.
And they lost it. They held. Wow. I know. I spoke to the guy, had a real good chat with him, and he ended up. They held on to the leader and tried to get this thing in, and it ended up. The hook ended up busting off. And I think, they were pretty devastated with losing that. but they had the leader, they had the trace, so that really is
counts as a capture. Yeah.
It does count as a capture. So in a game fishing tournament, that would count as a capture. But yeah, they had another crack, and they put another bait down, and they ended up hooking up again, and they got that one. So it's an amazing fish, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more caught, and there's probably heaps of them out there.
Yeah,
so
wow.
I've got no doubt that there's quite a few, and once there's regular crews that are going out there on the right weather, I think there's going to be quite a lot caught. So it won't. I don't think it's going to be a rare catch or anything like that. I think it'll be something that's we've got a proper sword fishery right here.
Wow, so big congratulations there to Scott Gaskell and his crew who did
Scott
catch
Gaskell,
that fish.
yep.
So that's a massive effort. Is that sort of the first one you know of getting caught around there?
Recreationally, yes.
Yeah.
I know the longliners that go out there. I've heard of quite a few. The longliners have said. I spoke to one commercial longliner, and I think the best they caught in a trip was something like 22 or 24 swordfish.
Jesus.
But they're primarily after big eye tuna out there. So the swordfish are just a bycatch. But
not a bad bycatch anyway.
Yeah, and they're all good fish. They're all like really good ones. So they're not small. So they're big swordfish.
No, very good. And the Rocky Islands been going really well in the last 3 or 4 months. Is that right, Shane? Samson fish, kingfish, and apparently massive schools of tuna. Is that still going on over there?
That's slowed down there now. So I've been out there in the last. A couple of times in the last month. It's not fishing anywhere near like what it was sort of, prior to the start of April. Sort of the start of April was really good, and then it just sort of died down a fair bit. But look, there's still tuna out there. I would not be surprised at all if there's barrel tuna out there. That would not surprise me one little bit. There's still be some kingfish out there, but you probably want to leave that until sort of October, November. That's when that'll start. You'll start getting your kingfish and your Samson fish a bit more regularly, and then your tuna. But this year, because we had that weird summer with all the currents and stuff like that, so Rocky Island was definitely a very good place to fish. The water was just right there. Everywhere in closer was green and cold, but Rocky sort of the water temperature sort of held around 18 degrees for most of the summer, and it was just a fish magnet out there all summer. We had some really good sessions out there. It was a real good spot.
Epic, yeah. We've seen some footage. We follow along Ned McHenry and his shark's tail, so we've seen you put him onto the fish, and that leads us to the next question, mate. Fishing with your son, Charlie, I think I've got the name right, haven't I? You must have a good time.
Yeah, Charlie, yep.
With him out there on the water, and he looks like he's ripe to take over Tackle World Port Lincoln when you hang up the boots, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's his plan. So that's what he wants to do. So
and Tuna Champion of the Year 2024 is not a bad accolade to have.
Yeah, he loves it. He's just right into it. He's me and Charlie were out yesterday, and he just loves it. So he's just hanging out to catch all the big stuff. So he wants to catch a barrel and wants to go out and catch a swordfish, and he wants to do it all now. He doesn't want to wait. But we had him out yesterday, and he was hooked up on some good tuna on real light line, 4 kilos. So
wow.
He had one on 4 kilo for probably about 50 minutes. That was quite a good fish. Probably a potential state record on 4 kilo for Charlie. If it was as big as what I think it was it was a pretty good one. but yeah, we ended up losing that, and so it's just one of those things. But yeah, no, it's good to have kids out there fishing and not so much on computers and the phones these days. But he's one of those that just he thrives on it.
Beautiful, Shane. Well, we did meet him over in the Port Lincoln comp, and he certainly does love it. You must, that was where we first sort of came across you and your family, and that Port Lincoln tuna comp must be a huge thing for the town.
Yeah, it is, and it's getting better. It's getting bigger and better each year. I was really surprised how much money was up for grabs for the biggest fish this year. I didn't think it was going to get anywhere near that. But yeah, it's great. So I think there's going to be a lot more people from out of Port Lincoln next year, and that's going to be a great thing. So, but yeah, the word's fully out about it. It's what's really good about it is it's the only game fishing competition in Australia where single hooks, you have to have single hooks. So triple hooks, you just cannot have them. So and for as a catch and release tournament, it's just great to see so many fish go back that survive. And I remember in the old days when it was treble hooks, and I remember I think it was the first one that I ever went into. We were using treble hooks, and I'd hate to know how many fish went back that probably just would have bled out and ended up being eaten by sharks. But yeah, it is really good to see that, and I think that's the way to go. And it's great that something like that's first started in Port Lincoln.
Yeah, absolutely, Shane. Couldn't agree with you more. And if anybody out there is listening who's thinking about it, get yourself down at Port Lincoln for the comp next year. There'll be heaps to come on their socials, and you don't need to worry about any of your gear. Just drop in to see Shane before. He'll tell you where they're biting and set you up with all the latest gear. So brilliant to have you on, Shane. Thank you very much for your time. We can't wait to see what you guys get up to. Hopefully a barrel hits the deck on that lovely 750 North Bank of yours, or maybe it's Charlie holding a swordfish. Who knows?
Well, I don't want Charlie to get it, so that'll be me. So not Charlie.
Beautiful. All right, Shane. Very informative. Thanks for your time, and thanks for sharing heaps of knowledge with our listeners.
No worries, lads. Thank you.
All right, Rhodey. That was really good to hear from Shane about all the fishing they've been doing down on the Eyre Peninsula. You got to put that date for the Port Lincoln comp in your calendar next year if you're thinking about it. But certainly if you've got space between now and then in your calendar, I'd be getting down there and chasing a barrel.
Certainly not the worst idea there, Diz, and plenty of other fish on offer. Flathead, salmon in the wintertime. There's always whiting around there. So Port Lincoln's your real one-stop shop for your fishing in this state.
And if they were getting heaps of schoolies too, so it's really interesting that they can still be catching heaps of schoolfish out there. So good stuff. Great to have them on. Rhodey, let's get in the fishing report.
Rhodey and Diz have been out on the water to bring you the news about where they're biting. Now it's time for the fishing report.
Righto, Rhodey, I'm hearing heaps of carp at Young Husband.
Yeah, I wouldn't say heaps. I'd say a steady flow. What did we catch? Probably a dozen?
We would have missed a dozen.
Oh, yeah, we didn't have a bell. How are we supposed to know when they were biting? I was bloody chasing kids, cooking pork on the spit. I was doing 8 things at once.
Yeah. No, you were busy.
Yeah, no, we missed some fish. But yeah, there were a few around. No big ones. Steady sort of medium size, few smallies.
Yeah, a few small, a few medium, nothing big.
And young George Allen set us the challenge of 10 for the afternoon.
Yeah, we'd sort of probably got 2 on the bank, and we said to George, how many you want today? And he just threw both hands up there.
10.
Said, give me 10, guys.
And I don't know how many we caught because we had a few pelican issues. They were nicking them off the off the bank where we'd was sort of putting them till we went and buried them or whatever else we were going to do with them. But a pelican came and did a bit of a job on them. So we're not exactly sure on numbers, but it would have been 12 or 13, I reckon.
Yeah.
A couple more this morning in the fog.
We got three this morning, I think, so that was good. Rody, but if you do want to know how to catch a cod, you probably want to get in touch with JB Angler and Josh Davey, don't you?
Yeah, they're doing well, aren't they, Diz? That was a good fish.
Yeah.
So do you know where they were fishing? Have you figured that out?
No.
No, you're not sort of, tracking them with a
I should, though.
The GPS or a little Apple dot or something.
Probably should put a little find my fish location beacon in their boat.
It's been a good year for those serious freshwater fishers. We're not going to say us carp anglers are serious, but
couldn't be further from serious freshwater anglers.
Plenty of cod, plenty of callop. And yeah, it's been really good freshwater fishing this year, Dis. So hopefully that's a sign of what's to come in years to come.
Yeah, good on them. Well done. Always good fishing with those guys. Love the work on the socials they do. Rody, we've heard from Shane. There's swords down at the Eyre Peninsula. There's barrels down there. You've got your flathead, salmon coming through the winter. There's still schoolies out there. You've got heaps of reasons to get down to the Eyre Peninsula at the moment, but they are fishing well and it's no great surprise.
Certainly are, Diz, and amazing some of those things that he said about the, he said how many more months can't remember exactly what he said, but 3 or 4 more months of potential barrel fishing to go. So it's really just starting. They've already got plenty, and amazing what he said about the swordfish, how many are actually out there.
Yeah. Unreal, isn't it?
On those professional boats. So it's only a matter of time before the recreational anglers sort of really figure it out. We see plenty more swordfish caught over there.
Good call. Love that, Rody. Winter whiting, we'll be talking about that more and more. Hopefully we're talking about it a lot after the June long weekend. We're hoping to get ourselves a good bag here and there.
We certainly are, Diz, and now is the time of year.
Yep, good stuff.
Should be in close, you'd think, in the shallow water.
You'd think so. Tice and the team down in the southeast, they're still doing well on the barrels. I saw Tice got a 72 kilo job the other day.
Yeah, I was going to say, has there been a lot in that 70 to 100 kilo bracket lately?
I think so. Although I think maybe they haven't had a good string of weather and haven't been able to get out a lot. I don't know.
Anyway, Diz, there's still plenty of big fish to come from there. And what did Tice say last week? 30? And he would have caught another, 5 to 10 since then. So that's a lot of big fish, Diz.
He's putting up some good numbers on that boat, and it's no surprise he's an absolute guru. All right, Rody, that was a good episode, mate. That just wraps up the fishing report, I think.
That probably wraps up the episode in general.
Does. Find us on Apple, Spotify, everywhere you find your podcast. Get on the socials.
Send us your photos.
Facebook.
Your photo of the month entries.
Yeah. And if you're bored, if one day you're bored after you've just taken pot shots at us and you feel like having a week off, just go again. Just go again. Get that keyboard out, slap away on it. Tell us what you really think about us.
We love all our friends, the keyboard warriors.
We love the warriors. Keep them coming.
A big thank you to Shane Hodgens from Tackle World Port Lincoln. He was a super guest. Make sure you get the notepad out, take a note of what he said, because he is a man in the know.
Even better, mate. Get down there and have a yarn with him. He'll tell you where they're biting.
All right, thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.
Rody and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.